Bear with me 1 second. Good morning and welcome to another episode of the ZMC Business Hour. You'll note this morning I have no intro. I have no intro music. I have no studio support this morning. Again, we are victims of this lockdown and we are working remotely. And obviously, working remotely comes with its own sets of challenges. Constantly having problems. So bear with us this morning. Hopefully, our transmission will not be disrupted. But we can only pray. We can only pray. So, exciting week. Tomorrow, schools are back. I'm presuming everyone's looking forward to getting their children back into schools. And slowly, we have the roadmap to getting out of lockdown. Exciting times, exciting times. The ZMC Network, a business show. Sorry, the ZMC Business Hour, a business show brought to you by the ZMC Network, a channel, a community, a network that is dedicated to connecting communities. Over the weeks, over the months, over the year, actually, we've brought you some fantastic guests on a Sunday morning, some leading business entrepreneurs, some leading business professionals from within our community. They've come along, they've shared their experiences, they've shared their knowledge, and hopefully we've all taken something away. This morning is no different. We have a phenomenal guest with us this morning. He's a Lord. He's a two-time elected councillor for Birmingham City Council. He's an accountant, and he has a whole array and a whole string of businesses with him that he's involved in. So I'd like to introduce our guest this morning, Mr. Lord Nawaz Ali. Morning, Mr. Nawaz.
Morning, how are you?
Should I call you Lord Nawaz? Should I call you Mr. Nawaz? How would you like it?
Nawaz is fine. I don't get too formal.
Thank you for joining us this morning. To our viewers, we are beaming live on Facebook and on YouTube. Please do share the link wherever you are watching us from. And if you have any questions, any comments, any queries, feel free to put them into the comment section, and I shall do my very best to get them answered. It's not every day that we have such dignitaries with us. So if you want to take some knowledge or learn or ask any tips or ask any advice, this is the perfect platform for that. So, Lord Nawaz, a qualified accountant, a business advisor by profession, and is the founder, chairman, and CEO of Simply iPay. We'll talk about that shortly. My word, your CV is very, very extensive and very long. So I'll leave it to yourself to just introduce to the people, to the viewers, exactly what you do and a bit about yourself.
Yes, thank you for having me here today. Hopefully we can gain some experiences both ways. My name is Nawaz. I'm an accountant by profession. I qualified as an accountant about 17 years ago, and I set up my own business, Redwood Accountants, based in Lozells. It's still there, flying the flag in Lozells, and the business would have been 14 years now. As Redwood Accountants. So that's going strong. We support the community, not just our clients, but as our company is based within a area where we know a lot of people and it's within the community, people come in for general advice as well. So we sort of support and help the community as much as we can there. Recently, we set up a company called Simply iPay, which is a merchant service provider. And what we do is we help payment services and we help monetize people's payments. So chip and pin machines, online payments, virtual payments, pay by link, pay by text message. So we have the whole array of bespoke payment solutions.
And I understand that this is Sharia compliant, which is quite different. But so we'll come back to iPay. So you're a two-time elected councillor for Birmingham City Council, and you served as a trade ambassador for Birmingham and sat on various bodies, including the licensing and public protection committees. How was that experience?
The experience was phenomenal. I mean, I got into politics through community work. After I came back from uni, a lot of people in my area came to me. They wanted help with certain services from the council, etc. So obviously, I decided to set up the Lozals Neighborhood Forum. So I set that up, and we worked with council officials, we worked with councillors, MPs, the police. So we used to have regular meetings. We used to work with the community, and through that, I sort of got more and more involved with community work. Even before I became a councillor, I sat on various bodies like the Ward Advisory Board, the Neighbourhood Management Board, Peribos, Strategic Partnership Boards, the police committees. So I sat on these boards even before I became a councillor. And during those times, I picked up a lot of skills, a lot of experience in how local government works. So when I got the chance to become a candidate in Yardley, I thought, yes, let me go and do something for the community.
And you make a very valid point there that while serving on these boards, you picked up a lot of skills which were transferable skills. Do you feel that the BAME community is represented enough at the local government level?
I don't think it's got a good representation, but I don't think the representation goes far enough. I mean, if you look at it, if you look at the whole breakup, I mean, Birmingham is probably one of the most multicultural cities you have got in the UK, and as opposed to that, I don't think the BAME community has enough representation across the board. In terms of the council itself, I mean, I think there's about 35 to 40 councillors at the moment from the BAME community out of 120, which is one third. Whereas
And then even within that 140, I mean, you're from the Bengali community. Do you feel that your own community is represented enough? Because we
I
have
don't,
a lot of Pakistanis and we have a lot from the Indian subcontinent, but very seldom do we see anybody from a Bengali community coming forward and having their voice heard.
it is. I mean, I was the second Bangladeshi councillor in Birmingham City Council. So I left in 2018. After me, there was another Bangladeshi councillor. So there's two Bangladeshi councillors in Birmingham out of a total of probably about 70,000 population. So I feel the Bangladeshi community is underrepresented, as I think the Afro-Caribbean community, the sort of Indian community as well. So I think there needs to be a bit more interaction from those communities coming into mainstream politics, and
Yeah.
also the mainstream parties. They need to sort of look at these inequalities and sort of promote those communities coming in.
And for any young budding potential politicians or youth or kids or young adults who are thinking about going into politics, but maybe it's not attractive enough. What would you say to them? How important is it, and why is it so important for them to come and represent specific communities?
It's very important to be involved in local politics because that's where all the decisions are made. If you look at your budgets, if you look at policing, if you look at housing, parks, environment, all these key decisions are made within the council. So to get your voice across, yes, you can do. You can speak to your councillors, you can do online petitions, etc., etc. But if you're not there raising the voice at the highest level, you're not going to get your voice heard.
And that's very important, is it? Because people seem to think that they have social media and they can create online petitions and that these petitions will be a voice. Yes, they will be a voice, but without representation in the right places, that voice can maybe sometimes go unheard.
Exactly. I mean, when people are doing petitions, it helps councillors put their points across. But without you being inside the system, without you being as part of the council, without you going to committees, you cannot make a difference. I mean, most of the decisions are voted on at the council.
Yes.
So if you're not there to make a vote for your community, for representing stuff that you believe in, if you're not there to vote for it, then you're not actually making that voice heard.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So you have the title Lord. Where does that come from?
That was a honorary position I got because I did a lot of work with different communities, etc. I mean, I'm also the chairman of the UK Bangladesh Business Chamber, where we work with a lot of businesses around the world, not just in UK, around the world. We have offices in Bangladesh and Dubai as well. So what we do is we promote bilateral trade between countries. We promote businesses coming to the UK businesses going abroad, etc.
Fantastic.
So as part of that, we work with the Commonwealth Chamber. We work with the UK Chamber of Commerce, the Dubai Chamber, the Dhaka Chamber in Bangladesh, etc. So as part of all that, I just got the honorary title of Lord, and it's a good experience, especially when we're working with international community. It's
Yeah.
different, each country has its own laws, its own practices, but the way they do business is different from the way we do it in the UK. They have
Most
different
definitely.
rules. So it's nice learning about different cultures and how people do business and trying to bring cultures together.
So, as well as being an accountant and as well as iPay, you've launched the Bangladeshi Chamber of Commerce, but you also run some food awards, don't you, for the hospitality industry and the restaurants?
Yes, we organized the Master Chef Promotion Awards. It's supposed to be every year, but over last couple of years due to COVID, we haven't done it. But we've done two events so far in Birmingham. I mean, what happens is most of these events happen in London, so a lot of our sort of Midlands and North communities and businesses get overlooked. So what we thought is we're going to do something in the Midlands because that's where it's central country, and also a lot of these hospitality businesses grew out of the Midlands. So we'll do it in the Midlands. So what we do is we have a online process where people can nominate restaurants online, and then for each region, the top three go into a cook-off. So we partner up with Southern City College, so we make it a local event. So three chefs from each different region, they come, they cook off against each other, and we have a panel of independent judges who are sort of chefs in their own rights. They come, taste the food, and then we have a separate award ceremony where we give the awards out for the top chefs in the country and each region.
Now, I've been involved in a lot of award ceremonies. I run a few events myself. Um, do you not find that particularly the BAME community restaurants, the owners sometimes are very tunnel visioned? I've had instances where I've asked certain restaurants to nominate themselves for an award. They've asked what day is the ceremony. You tell them it's a Saturday night or a Friday night, and their response is, "Well, who's going to run my restaurant if I'm at the ceremony?" How important is it for restaurant owners and restaurants to come forward and get the exposure that these awards can give them? And do you feel that the BAME community is doing enough? Because we all know about the big five-star restaurants and we know about all the big brands in the city, but the restaurants in the suburbs, do you feel that they're doing enough to get the recognition or to get the awareness out there about themselves?
I think it's very important they do that because some of the restaurants that came and they participated in our MasterChef Awards, I mean, I spoke with a few of them, last year, and what they said is their businesses increased by 20 to 30% after they came and won the award. Obviously, after they won the awards, they went on the local newspapers, radios, and they started marketing, and that had a detrimental effect on how businesses is run, and they increased the turnover by 30%. So I think it's
Yes.
very important, especially coming out of this COVID now. Hospitality business has suffered a lot, and for these guys to come back to pre-pandemic levels, etc., they need to do a lot of marketing and they need to start showcasing their businesses to the wider community. I mean, gone are the days where you started to do your leafleting through doors. I mean, those days are past
Yes,
it.
yes, yes. Those days are long gone.
Though there's a longer, so people need to look at the next level of sort of marketing, next level of
And are these
exposure.
awards open to all communities? Are they open to all cuisines? Are they open to all backgrounds, or is it specific just for a particular community?
No, it's open to everybody, all cuisines, all communities, as long as they're a chef. they can enter the awards. We also had a category where we had home housewife chef of the year. So we had a lot of female housewives that came and competed.
Wow, amazing,
So we made it
amazing,
sort of fun as well as a lot, you know, informative and
fantastic.
very
Now
competitive.
your new launch, this iPay. This is Sharia compliant.
Yes.
I understand this is a merchant service where people can make card payments. How does this work? How is it Sharia compliant? Because a lot of products are launched. We get halal mortgages, we get halal finance, and no one actually understands the nitty gritty of that. It's all very well using the word halal, but what does it actually mean? So, could you just talk us through the process of iPay and how it's actually Sharia compliant?
Yeah, I mean, the way the Sharia compliant is obviously with Sharia law, it's to do with interest and sort of exposure to all those elements. But the way we work is obviously we have a buy rate from Mastercard, and then obviously we have a minimal sell rate. So there's no sort of interest rates involved. So we have a buy rate, we have a sell rate. People come to us, we'll give them a facility. So whether it be a chip and pin machine, whether it be online payments, pay by link, pay by telephone, we charge them a facility for the machine, which is a monthly rental, and then they pay us a percentage of their turnover. So it's nothing to do with interest rates, nothing to do with anything else. We have a buy rate, we have a sell rate, and our
So,
profit is very
so, so, your fees are basically a percentage of the turnover rather than a fixed monthly fee.
it's a percentage of turnover. So different businesses that will have different sort of turnovers and rates. So we have a buy rate from Mastercard, and then we'll have a sell rate. So what we do is we only charge minimal profits to cover our operational costs and fees. So in a way, we're trying to sort of support the community because once we've gone to merchant services, I mean, we looked at statements from various different businesses. I mean, I own a shisha lounge, and I looked at my statement, and payment sense were charging me literally about 130, £140 a month, for no apparent reason. They were charging me authorization fees, they were charging me PCI compliance fees,
And
etc.
over,
etc.
I mean, over the course of 12 months, that can add up, can't it? I mean,
It does add up. I mean, the deals that we've come back with, I mean, so for my shisha lounge business, we saved about 70% of the fees changing
fantastic.
over. But we've also worked with other businesses. We worked with a few restaurants. We worked with companies that sell money transfers. We've done companies that are setting up online food hubs. So we've gone to them and we've given them packages where they've saved 40% to 70% on the existing merchant services.
Fantastic.
So, we're trying to sort of support businesses coming out of lockdown as well.
And
And then
who's your typical client? Who's your typical user?
we're a bespoke payment solutions. So what we do is we support all businesses, no matter what category they fall under. So with restaurants, we support restaurants. With the terminals, online payments, because as you know, during the COVID, everything went digital. So a lot of takeaways started doing delivery services, um, takeaway services, online payments. So what we do is we support businesses that want to go digital. We provide them with an online platform, online payments, virtual terminals, pay by phone, pay by text message, pay by links. So we do all of that.
And
And
is
obviously, what
there any setup fees? Because I know from experience that sometimes the setup fees can be pretty high, and that can be a deterrent for people wanting to leave the current provider. Also, if they're in contract with another provider, that can also be a reason that they even if they want to change, that they may hesitate. What have you got in place for such instances?
I mean, if people are in the contracts, I mean, what they need to do is send us their statements. We look at the statements, and then what we can do is we can legally get them out of the contracts. I mean, if there's hidden charges that's not been explained, I mean, a lot of these guys, they have hidden charges. PCI compliance fees, like I said, PCI compliance, they charge for auth fees, X, Y, and Z. So there's a lot of hidden charges where people don't realize that they're being charged. Our industry experts, we can tell once we look at a company's statement, we can tell all the charges they're getting charged, so we can legally get them out of contracts. And in terms of our fees, we charge minimal fees, minimal startup fees as a rule, because what we don't want to do is get them out of one expensive contract and get them into another expensive one.
Yes.
So what we do is we try and keep all the costs to a minimal. And like I said, we save people 40 to 70% on existing contracts.
I've got a question. Do you pre-authorize do you do pre-authorization on your terminals?
Yes, with the authorization is if it's a normal business, we do authorization as a normal card machine does. So people take a payment, and the card comes back as authorized, and it comes with the authorization code. Obviously, if they're different businesses like hotels, car hire companies where people take a deposit, so then there's a pre-authorization. So that's a different sort of a system.
Okay.
So we do both. We are bespoke payment solutions, so we can cater for all types of businesses.
Fantastic. So if people do want to get in touch with you and utilize your services, I shall be sharing your contact details when I share this video at the end. But great concept, and many congratulations on that. I named the show this morning Business, Accounting, and Shisha. You're a man of many talents, and you're a man involved in many things, and you know what, hats off to you. Your accountancy, now that we're coming out of lockdown and we've had this whole, I don't want to speak too much about COVID because that's all everyone talks about at the moment, but it's been a crazy year. It's been absolutely crazy, and we've had accountants on here, and we've had people explaining the do's and the don'ts and what's available. So with the budget that just happened, what's your take on the budget? And what's available, what's really available for business owners out there, the solopreneurs, the one-man bands. What's actually, I've got one more question on iPay. After how many days do you transfer the money into the account?
That's a very good question. I mean, what we're looking to do is we're trying to help businesses during the COVID period, so people need quick cash. So we have facilities where people, when they take a card payment, we can get the money into their accounts within an hour, within a day. So we have fast money. We can do fast money. So if you take at 3 o'clock,
potentially you can have the money in the account same day.
Same day, within an hour. We've got facilities for that.
Fantastic. Mr. Talat, I hope that answers your query. Excuse me, I'm looking at 2-3 different screens here, so I'm trying to catch the questions that as they come in as well. So back to the accountancy. We had the budget, and it's a big thing. What did you make of the budget, and what's the future like?
In terms of the future, I mean, COVID was unexpected, and I don't think many businesses were sort of, prepared for it. I mean, I don't think many of our sort of Asian businesses are prepared for any sort of situations that arise. I mean, because the problem is a lot of our businesses, they don't do cash flow forecasting, they don't do management accounts, they don't do X, Y, and Z. I mean, they do businesses, they do sales, they take profits out, they don't have a contingency. I mean, I think that's something that businesses need to plan for the future. I mean, any future pandemics.
Well, if we haven't learned that now, then we will never learn it, because you quite rightly say the businesses that had a contingency, the businesses that had a cash flow, that had a surplus, they managed to survive it and just get through by the skin of the teeth. And people who live for the day struggled really bad.
Exactly. I mean, what we did during our with the lockdown is we kept our office open on appointment basis. So people came in, we helped them with their grant applications, we helped them with bounce back loan applications, as well as the usual accountancy services. I know a lot of people, charge businesses percentages, to apply for bounce back loans or apply for grants, which is
I've heard some
pandemic.
horror stories. Honestly, I heard some horrendous. I mean, it was on the news, I think, as well, a couple of weeks ago, where they are cracking down on such practices. But I really, really heard some really horror stories, and it's a shame and it's disappointing to see people taking advantage and manipulating the situation when businesses are struggling and businesses are in pain, monetizing that and trying to benefit of somebody else's hardship. Unfortunately, but it did happen quite a bit.
It did happen. I mean, we kept offices open. We helped our clients. We also helped non-clients as well when they came in and said, this person charge our accountant is charging us percentages. We can't afford to pay them. Can you help? Like, okay, no problem. We'll help you. That's not a problem. But I think it's important that businesses need to look at the future. With this current budget, I think the budget wasn't too bad. I mean, the furloughs carrying on till September, which is very good
Yeah,
because
but there's a but yeah, but the furlough carrying out till September may also indicate that lockdown is going to carry on until September.
I don't think it's about lockdown carrying on. I think that's the government's contingency, but they are looking 21st of June for all restrictions to finish. But the reason why furloughs carrying on till September is, say businesses open back in 21st of June, but not all businesses will be back at full capacity. So certain businesses will be at 50% capacity. So with those staff, they need to phase them back into work. So I
Yes.
think the furlough sort of will
Yeah,
help that.
and I think that's a very valid point and a very important point there. The fact that he's extending the furlough up until September doesn't necessarily mean that we'll be in lockdown until September, but there's got to be a phased process for going back into work. And yes, without a doubt, there will be some job losses, there will be some redundancies, there will be still further businesses going under, but from June to September, you've got a 2-3 month sort of a landing pad there, so that if you do face any hardship or any difficulty, you are able to carry on paying your staff.
Yeah, yeah. I think that was the reason behind it. I mean, a lot of businesses may not come back with 100% staff capacity. They might come with 50% staff capacity, and then sort of grow back into the business they once was. So I think that's the sort of buffer zone that government sort of picked.
Yes.
Um, in terms of the grants, non-essential shops, I mean, when they open back on the 12th of April, they can apply for a small grant, to come back and restart. And I think hospitalities, they can apply up to £18,000. But obviously, they have to check the local authority website to see what they're entitled to. I mean,
I
that's
mean
based on the
the
budget.
grants that were released in October or November,
Yeah.
I believe some businesses, some hospitality businesses, are still struggling to get them. Do you think the process is simple enough, and do you think it's streamlined enough? Because I personally know a few restaurants, a few of my clients, who are still struggling to get a hold of any monies.
I think the initial process is simple. I mean, businesses need to go online, create an account with the local authority, and do the application. I think where the problem lies is distribution from local authorities. I mean, I think that's taking a lot of time. Um, whether that's money coming in from government or whether it's the distribution locally. I mean, that's a big factor in people getting the money. I mean, I know
And
a lot of
what can people do about that? Because there has been a lot. I mean, this last before the budget, the last set of grants, people are still struggling to get them.
I mean, I think the best way is to email your local authority where you applied, and they will give you an update. that's the best thing to do. I mean, I know some businesses.
With your counselor hat on, what can business? I mean, it's easy sending an email, you don't get a response. You're on the phone for 4, 5, 6 hours sometimes, and when somebody won't answer, or when they do answer, they'll just fob you off to another department. With your counselor hat on, what do you think people should do?
I think go and speak to your local councillors. I mean, they have direct access.
Okay, fantastic.
Councillors are there for, so I think councillors will help. Wherever your business is located, speak to the councillor for that particular area, and I
Okay.
think they will be able to.
Oh, that's a very valid point and a very important point. So if you are a business that has been struggling to get hold of the funding, your local councillor, that's what they're paid for. That's what their job is. They are there to support you. And like Mr. Nawaz, you need to hold your councillors to account. And when you need them the most, you need them to perform. So if you are struggling with anything like that, and I know it's an absolute challenge to get through to. It was a challenge before we were working from home. Now that people are working from home, the phone doesn't get answered even more.
Yeah.
Right. So if you are struggling with that, get hold of your local councillor and ask them to intervene. That may just speed up the process, because my worry is that we've now released a new set of funding, and people are still waiting the old funding.
Yeah.
So now it's going to be a double whammy. So that's the best way, and great advice. Thank you for that. And throughout the whole lockdown, we've had several accountants on, and we've spoken about many angles and aspects. What do you see happening in the next 12 months for businesses? Do you see an upsurge in new businesses? Because I think there was a report yesterday saying that there was a massive increase between October and now of new ventures popping up.
It is. I mean, I think that we have a bit of both. I mean, few old businesses will close down, new businesses will come in. I mean, it's just evolution of business. And also, I think what's happened is because of this COVID, a lot of businesses are generally struggling, and a lot of businesses can't pay rent, etc., and they will close, unfortunately.
Yes.
But other businesses will come and they will take over these premises, and they will start new businesses there. So I think over the 12 months, we will see a lot of changes in the high street. And a lot of businesses now, they're sort of moving their dynamics. I mean, a lot of businesses are going online, for example.
Yes.
So instead of having a big high street presence, they might sort of close the high street, go into a small warehouse and set up online, because the online market is bigger than what they used to do in the high street. So the high streets will change over the next 12 months, as opposed to what it is now. I mean, we could see with Arcadia Group, Burton's, Dorothy Perkins, everything else, they're all gone from our high streets over the last 12 months.
Yes, vanished, absolutely vanished, yes.
They've all gone online. So, they've been bought out by online companies, and they're all online. So these businesses on the high street, they will probably be bought over by somebody else, etc., and they'll probably be running as something new. So we will see demographics change over the next 12 months. A lot of businesses will go online. A lot of places will shut, but then new businesses will sort of take over and open.
Fantastic. And now, finally, the Shisha. So, what? Somebody who's a lord, somebody who's an accountant, somebody who's an ex-councillor, somebody who's involved in iPay, somebody who's involved in the Chamber of Commerce, somebody who does awards. Where do you get the time to run a Shisha cafe from?
I have a team. So, basically, it's a business that I got involved in a few years
So
back.
it's Abarisk Shisha Lounge. Abarisk in
Highgate, yeah.
Arabesque. Sorry, I call it Abarisk. Abarisk in Arabesque in Highgate, isn't it?
Highgate, yeah.
Okay.
We got involved in that a few years ago. We've got a few partners that sort of run the business. Basically, it's something out of the box. Businesses need to sort of think out of the box. So it's something out of the box, something that's got a lot of demand for at the moment, with all the sort of youngsters, etc. And it's something where, you know, our youngsters need to go out and chill out somewhere, you know, after, you know, they've come back from college or after uni and stuff like that. And obviously, we don't want our generation to go into nightclubs and everything else. So it's an alternative where, you know, there's no alcohol, there's no sort of any argy bargies going on. It's just a nice place where people come, chill out, meet your friends, have fun, you know, and just sort of go home.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. It really, really has. An inspirational individual. So, just your parting words to young, upcoming entrepreneurs who seem to think that life has nothing to offer them. And we're seeing more and more of this now with our youth. Um, but and then there's people like yourself who've got, who've got, I wouldn't say so many businesses, but you've got so many feathers in your cap, and it's so diverse. You know, how do you do it, and what would your advice be to up and coming entrepreneurs who want to do something but are just a bit resilient and a bit hesitant?
I think just go up and go for it. I mean, no risk, no gain. I mean, you have to look at business in that respect. I mean, you have to be confident. You have to be confident in your ideas. You have to be confident in your ability. I mean, if there's a business opportunity out there, just go and take it, because the future is going to be in business. I mean, yes, jobs are available, but at the moment, the unemployment rate is so high. I mean, jobs are going to be hard for the next 12 to 18 months anyway.
Yes.
So a lot of people are starting online, and with this pandemic, it showed people can work from home, people can work online, people can work on a laptop, people can work in different methods. You don't need a big high street location to open a business. You can open from your front room, but have an online presence. And a lot of people are doing that. A lot of people are setting up businesses. I mean, one of my friends just set up a business doing similar to Vitobiotics, the gummy bears, but he's using black seed in the gummies. So it's something new and innovative, but it's
Yes.
something that, you know, people will love because it's
Yes.
black seed. You know, so there's
Yeah, and
so
that's the secret in it. Be innovative. Do something different. Think out the box.
yeah. Think at the box. I mean, the world's the oyster. I mean, if you look at the world, I mean, the world is a different place. I mean, there's loads of businesses that want to come into the UK. There's UK businesses where there's a market for globally as well. So
Yes.
it's not just, you know, your own backyard. You have to look, you know, you have to look far and beyond. I mean, everything
Yes.
is online now. You can sell stuff here in Amazon where, you know, you can sell it in America. So, you know, with technology these days, it's vast. And
Yeah.
obviously with what we're doing with Simply iPay, we're getting new technologies out. I mean, we're also setting up new technologies where we're looking to do the UK's first tap and pay, where we convert mobile phones into chip and pin machines. So we are doing a lot of technological advances in payments. So we're looking to work with people. We also have our own IT department as well. So people that want websites with payments, etc. So we help businesses to do that. We're also helping businesses with marketing with our own in-house team. So we're not just sort of saying, come to us, we'll give you a card machine, there you go. No, we're helping businesses sort of come in. We're helping them with their marketing, we're helping them with their technology, IT, etc. So we're trying to sort of support businesses in a wider way where it's not just a chip and print machine company that comes in and goes, here's a card machine, you know, see you later. You know, we're there to support businesses in the long term and make sure that they're viable so that everybody else in the pipeline can be viable as well.
Fantastic. You know what? It's been an absolute pleasure, and it's been inspirational actually, because it's very seldom I meet somebody who's that enthusiastic and is in that many different businesses, but is enthusiastic about all of them. I don't know how you do. I don't know where you find the energy from. I thought I had energy, but honestly, fair play to you, and well done, well done.
Thank you.
And to my viewers, it's as Noah said, the world is your oyster. It's down to yourself. How far do you want to go? What do you want to achieve? There's no point just sitting there and thinking about it. Actually take the step. And there's fantastic people like the gentleman to offer you advice, offer you support. We are coming through a crazy period in our lives, and the next 12, 24 months are going to be turbulent. Um, it's down to yourself what you make out of them. Mr. Nawaz Ali, thank you very, very much. It's been an absolute pleasure. Sunday morning, I know it's a bit of a chill out time, but this is when we do our show. So I really appreciate you taking the time out today,
No
and we
problem.
wish you the very, very best in all your endeavors. Truly inspirational to meet someone like you. Thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Abid, and thank you to your guests for listening in as well.
No problem. Thank you. And if you do want to get in touch with Nawaz, I shall be sharing the link beneath the video. And our viewers, thank you for joining us this morning. Please do keep tuned in, keep watching. Throughout the week, we do political shows. It's been a momentous day yesterday in Pakistani politics. I won't talk about politics. I think the next show is going to be about politics. I don't want to spoil it for them, but it was an incredible day yesterday. So we do sports shows, we do talk shows, we do political shows, we do the news. Keep tuned in, keep sharing our channel, and I look forward to seeing you same time, same place next week. I have an amazing guest next week from Dubai. She took on the Dubai legal system, and then she wrote a book about it. So look forward to seeing you same time, same place next week. Keep tuned.